sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm glad you were pretty much on those
Yes, sir. 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 Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Squadron, commanders, in charge of your squadron! First Sergeant. 35. Right. Peace.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Superintendent, Lieutenant General Wingfield W. Scott, Jr., the Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Sam W. Westbrook III, the Acting Dean of Faculty, Colonel John T. May, and the Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet Colonel Terrence A. Brown, I would like to welcome you to this acceptance parade for the class of 1990. Now entering the parade field on your right is the Air Force Cadet Wing. The wing includes approximately 4,500 men and women from all parts of the United States, along with several cadets from the different territories and allied nations. As the cadet wing marches on, the individual flights of cadets, led by squadron first sergeants, will be forming up in front of the bleachers in preparation for their acceptance into the cadet wing. These cadets are led by 1st BCT Deputy Group Commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel David G. Earhart from Albert Lea, Minnesota.
Prominence which rests on the fact that its fundamental purpose was to prepare troops for battle. For the most part, drill procedures practiced in the past were identical to the tactical maneuvers employed on the battlefield. It was this aspect of drill which made it such an important part of training. Even in modern times, as advances in weaponry increase the need for battlefield dispersion, drill remains a necessary and useful training activity for instilling discipline and esprit de corps. 200 years ago, our forefathers were confronted with the unique problem of training an army already engaged in war. An army which had suffered loss after loss to superior British forces, and which was characterized by poor organization, discipline, and teamwork. Recognizing the critical nature of these failures, General Washington enlisted the assistance of Baron von Steuben, a distinguished Russian officer. Arriving at Valley Forge in February 1778, von Steuben faced an army of several thousand half-starved, wretched men in rags. To correct these conditions, he set to work immediately and wrote drill regulations designed to teach the discipline of drill to a model company of 120 men selected from the line. Discipline became a part of military life for these selected individuals as they learned to respond to commands without hesitation. As they mastered the art of drill and began to work as a team, this group developed a collective sense of pride in themselves and in their unit. Watching this model company drill, observers were amazed to see how quickly and orderly the troops could be massed and maneuvered into different battle formations. Later, members of the model company were distributed throughout the Army to teach drill. It was through this simple emphasis on drill that the effectiveness and efficiency of Washington's Continental Army was improved. In 1779, to assure continuity, von Steuben wrote the American Army's first field manual, the regulations for the order and discipline of the troops of the United States. The drill procedures placed into effect at Valley Forge were not changed for over 85 years, and many of these drill procedures are still in effect today. The squadron of approximately 110 cadets. There are 4 groups of 10 squadrons each, or 40 squadrons. An upper-class chain of command is responsible for the administration and operations of the wing under the supervision of the Commandant of Cadets and his staff.
company are now marching towards the wing in the inverted wedge formation. The wedge formation is used in only 2 cadet wing parades, the acceptance parade for the new 4th class, and the graduation parade held in the spring for the graduating 1st class. Just as the graduating class uses a flying wedge to symbolize their leaving the wing, so does the class of 1990 use the inverted wedge to symbolize their acceptance into the wing. For the new 4th class, the acceptance parade formally marks the end of basic cadet training and begins their cadet careers as members of permanent squadrons of the Air Force Academy's Cadet Wing. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
The Navy. The Navy is old. Army's the oldest. West Point is the oldest. West Point is the oldest.
Sponsored by an operational organization. Visits are exchanged each year, thus providing the cadet a better understanding of the Air Force.
The reviewing officer for today's parade is Brigadier General Sam W. Westbrook III, the Commandant of Cadets. The other members of the reviewing party are Colonel John T. May, the Acting Dean of Faculty, and Colonel John J. Clune, the Director of Athletics. Staff are members of the first group staff under the command of Air Officer Commanding Lieutenant Colonel Gary R. Lorenz, and the Sergeant Major for first group is Master Sergeant Terry L. Lockaway. Now approaching the reviewing stand are members of first group staff. The group commander is Cadet Colonel Stephen A. Hubers from San Antonio, Texas. The DCS is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Peter H. Parsons from Northview, Minnesota. From Garden City, Kansas comes the Stand Eval Officer, Cadet Major Scott M. Fox, and the Assistant Stand Eval Officer, Cadet Captain Eric D. McCroskey from Springfield, Missouri. Now the members of first group, Mach 1. Cadet Squadron 1 is led by the squadron commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Tom Remper from New Canaan, Connecticut. Air Officer Commanding, Major David Day.
Command of Air Officer Commanding Major Lauren Ainsworth. The Sergeant Major for second group is Senior Master Sergeant Bud Sexton. In the eyes right position are members of second group staff. The group commanders, Cadet Colonel Keith R. Reiser from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Following first group staff, the cadets from 11th Squadron, Rebel 11. Squadron commanders, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel John F. Kozman from Brooklyn, New York. AOC is Major David Dean. Dirty Dozen. They're led today by their squadron commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Scott A. Hadfield from Savannah, Georgia. Their Air Officer Commanding is Major Clark Caldron. Are the Bulldogs, Cadet Squadron 13. Their squadron commanders, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Andrew G. Height from White Plains, New York.
Right are the Roadrunners of 32nd Squadron, led by their squadron commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Charles J. Cunningham III from Austin, Texas. Air Officer Commanding, Major William Schmidt. Now approaching their reviewing party are the King Rats. 33rd Squadron is led by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Colin Carr, Phoenix, Arizona. Major John Kokonis, Air Officer Commanding. The Thunderbolts of 34th Squadron, led by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Tracy A. Jones from Tampa, Florida. Air Officer Commanding, Major Thomas E. Stanley. Now entering eyes right is 35th Squadron, the Wild Weasels, led by the squadron commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Keith Hoffeld from Lincoln, Nebraska. Major David White, Air Officer Commanding.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you today our two cadets who brought you this fine motion picture. On our right we have the cameraman, Cadet First Class Joe Aldrian, and we'll zoom in here for a close-up of him and his little soup spin. And this is also Cadet First Class Harold P. Eve, who was your narrator for most of this fine film. And we'll zoom back out here and get one quick look at both of them again as we bid farewell.
Thank you, Cadet Aldrin, on a job well done.
Thank you, Cadet Eve.
Thank you.